Just a disclaimer here. What I'm about to the two movies that I want to talk about are based off the 1999 Columbine Massacre. So if you are kind of queasy, or if you're kind of get worried if you hear the mention of guns or school shootings, if any matter, please go watch another video. Watch something happy like the Care Bears. Oh wait, you're still here? All right, time to talk about the video. So. No, the Columbine Massacre of 1999 is not a joke. You know, some people tend to make it a joke, but no. This is something you should not joke about, because this is something that a bunch of people died, a bunch of people got injured, a bunch of people who survived after the massacre still got foreboding memories about it. They got traumatized after that, so please, if you're gonna joke in the comments, don't do that. Actually, no one comments in the video, so. But anyways, the movies I'm going to talk about, yes, they are based on real life events. One of them actually made it seem like it was a real footage of a school shooting. And these movies came out, what, like 2003 in the same year? One of them was from a experienced director, and another one was from an experimental director. So first up, we got Elephant from 2003 by Gus Van Sant, most notably for the shot-by-shot remake of Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock, which some people say was bad. And then probably his most famous work, Good Will Hunting, featuring starring Robin Williams and Matt Damon. And people say that movie's good. After he made a Good Will Hunting, he made his own trilogy called the Death Trilogy, but I like to call it the Death Quadrilogy. So the Death Trilogy, the official Death Trilogy consists of let's see. The first one starts Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And that movie is called, yeah, I'm sorry, Gary, Gerry, which is about two friends named Gary who get lost in the desert, and only one of them survives. The second in the trilogy being Elephant, which is what I'm going to talk about today, and the third one being Last Days, which is just like Elephant, based on real events, and it's about the suicide of Nirvana leader Kurt Cobain. And the Death Quadrilogy for me is those three movies and another film we made called Paranoid Park, which is about a kid who finds a skateboard that belonged to a dead body, and then the police think that he was the one who killed the person that owned the skateboard. Now, Gus Van Sant, I like his work, but Elephant is kind of different because it is kind of experimental with the editing. Like, there are some scenes in the movie where they do take place in the same time as the scenes. Like, for example, as one person is walking through a hallway, another scene chronicles the same time period as that person's walking down the hallway, which might confuse some people, but in my opinion is really great editing. Now, for Zero Day does not belong in any trilogy, does not belong in anything whatsoever, and it's, I think, the only feature film Ben Coccio made. And one of the reasons why it's so popular is because it's found footage. Now Elephant is not found footage. It's recorded on a more cinematic camera. Like, the camera work in that movie looks better, but in a Zero Day it is filmed on I don't guess you call it that, but a camcorder, I say. Like, cameras you use when you and your buddies are making a film for college, you know? So with that, making the movie seem like it's real, like these are the actual footages of the Columbine. And I actually first thought that when I first watched the movie. I was like, "Whoa, God, is this the actual, like, footage?" Which me and a lot of people were very convinced that this is the actual footage of Cal and Alex. But then when we found out it was just a movie, now the reason why this movie is popular is because it is a good found footage film. I recommend it, and also because it introduced the world to Volcano by Benji Kosa, which is a really underrated song. Now, enough of the background with those two movies. We're gonna so these two movies, every single time I hear Elephant, some people say about the editing, and Zero Day they talk about how good the found footage is. And another thing that relates to these two is that which is better, Elephant or Zero Day? Some people say Elephant is a lazy film, which I don't agree. Some people say that Zero Day is a bad film, which I don't agree. I think those two films are really, really good. They're on YouTube. Zero Day, the full movie of Zero Day is on YouTube, and Elephant, the movie's on Spanish, the full movie. But I understand Spanish, so. Now this is gonna go on into different topics: the characters, the story, how they both relate to Columbine, and the music, and how well the final product came out. So first up, we're gonna go with the characters. So an elephant, we got a photographer, which I think his name is Eddie. A kid with a drunk dad called, I don't know what his name is. Cheerleader girl who is not used to the whole outfit wearing. I think the only one I know is Eddie, and of course, since this can't be a movie about Columbine without the shooters, Alex and Eric. Now Eddie, he likes taking photographies. You know, I think he also likes to take erotic photographs. I don't know. The kid with the drunk dad, he of course he has a sucky life. His life kind of sucks. You know, his dad he worries about his dad because he still hasn't gone over his addiction to alcohol. He always gets late to school, but he still lives life to the fullest. Now the girl who is on the cheerleading team, she's kind of worrisome. She's kind of worrisome about the whole why do I have to reveal my full clothing? Why I have to like reveal my whole skin? It feels kind of weird thing. And then we have Alex and Eric, which are like Andre and Eric from Columbine. And the reason why they show this is like everything. Like why do they build up to the massacre in the first place? We show them everything. They're not popular students. They get bullied on. Everybody makes fun of them because they're queer, and they play violent video games, which lists down all the reasons. And this is why you might think that this is gonna lead up to a shooting. And the movie in Columbine, they just did it because in real life the shooters did it because they wanted to. But in this movie, they say all the reasons why they started the shooting in the first place, but they don't say, oh, we just did it because of whatever. So it's kind of like all those reasons that led up to the shooting. It's like you gotta pick one. And I know they're trying to say like, oh no, they did it just because they wanted to. Like in the film synopsis, it says even though they are the target of bullying, they committed this massacre simply because they wanted to. But it doesn't show us anywhere in the actual movie. And the friendship of Alex and Eric and Elephant, I think it feels kind of forced in my opinion. Like in that shower scene. Whenever they both kiss, I was like, this feels kind of forced, you know? This feels kind of forced. So yeah, the characters in that movie, I think they're okay. It just kind of seems like their friendship was kind of forced, you know? Now let's go to Zero Day, which I think the characters are amazing in this movie. You got Andre and Cal, which of course are gonna plan to do something horrific, but like in the first hour of the movie, you get to know their friendship, you get to know how they met, you get to know why, and their chemistry is so good that you actually think that these are actual best friends in real life recording this. And then they bring back Zero. Then you're like, oh shit, I forgot I was watching a movie. And I got distracted so many times about their friendship that I forgot that I was focusing on these two kids about to start a shooting. And that's how good their friendship is compared to Alex and Eric from Zero Day. Alex and Eric from Elephant. And also, yeah, after they die, they start making a slideshow, which is actually Andre and Cal's actors, Andre Krigman and Cal Gabriel, which are actual photos and memoirs, which are actual photos of them when they were younger, permitted by their actual parents in real life, not in the movie. which is really cool. And then you're like, ah, like these monsters were actually people, and it starts to, and then you decide, and then it makes the audience question themselves, what could be those monsters if they didn't did something that horrific? Like if they didn't do 0 day, what person in society will they be in today? So 0 day, I'm sorry Elephant, but Alex and Eric, I just didn't feel any chemistry there. So 0 day, 1, Elephant 0. Characters were amazing. I got distracted because their chemistry was so freaking good in this. They actually felt like students and not monsters at some point in the movie. So there we go. So characters. So the best characters goes to 0 day. And now with the story. Now the story of Elephant, it's between the students before they meet their demise. And at some of them, and yeah, the quirky girl that I mentioned that was a cheerleader, yeah, you kind of feel for her. If there are some people who said they kind of relate to her, like, why do I have to like reveal my skin? Sometimes it feels kind of awkward at these events, you know. And Eddie, there, like, he wants to try wants to try something new in photography. Uh, then we have the kid that I said had a dad who was obsessed with alcohol. He's trying to get over it. Has a crappy life, but he still likes to live life to the fullest, you know. There are some people who can relate to him in real life. And then we got Alex and Eric, which, like I said, if they feel their chemistry feels kind of forced in the movie. And then just seeing those characters I just mentioned just die, you're like, oh shoot. You're like, oh shoot. You you say, oh shoot, they're dead. But you're not like, oh shoot, they're dead. No, I wanted them to live. No, you're like, oh, they're dead. Like you didn't care for them. You know, so there's like this gang of girls who are like, oh my gosh, yeah, Brittany, did you know? Oh my gosh, Brittany. You know those girls. Like I literally didn't care for them at all. Like when they got shot dead off screen, I was like, yes. So the characters, I didn't care for them, and also yeah, Eric, one of the Alex. So Alex did it just because he was a freaking psycho. Like whenever he was running down the halls, you know, with his gun in hand, gunning down every person that what was in his path. The music was voices. It was like voices whispering in his head, like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. That was the whole foreboding music, and it was silent, just voices. So you knew this kid is messed up in his head, so messed up that he kills his partner. And there are some people saying Alex felt so bad that he killed all these people, that he killed the person that taught him that. No, that's not why. The reason why is because he's a psycho. He loved killing those people. So when Eric started talking, he's like, this annoying piece of crap. When can I start shooting? And he shoots him. And he was so messed up in his head. And in the last scene of the movie, there's a couple in the movie that is also one of the students. That is also one of the students that they focus on in the movie. He doesn't shoot them right away. He starts toying with them like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. Like he's deciding who should die first while they're screaming in panic. And that's when the movie ends. So yeah, Alex was demented. Eric was also demented, but at least he did it because it was kind of like a revenge story to kill the principal. Like he did the shooting just because he wanted to kill the principal, but Alex did it because he wanted to kill people. And in 0 Day, like I said, the chemistry feels genuine. It makes you care about Andre and Cal, which then you're like, oh shoot, I forgot that they were I forgot that they were gonna do 0 Day. And then you would just want to see 0 Day happen, but you're just so distracted by their friendship that you literally forget that you're watching a movie. And also their friends at the prom, they seem really nice guys. The girl that they talked to at the gravestone, that scene was funny because of Cal's famous line, because I'm desperate and need for attention. That line. And also the reason why they did it is because also, you know, the bullying, because they had bullying. You know, because they had the bullying and because they got bullied. Bully was one of the major factors, and they didn't play any violent video games. But no, the reason why they did it is because they said that everybody's a wild animal, and animals have to die at some point. So we're correcting them. So they're just like, we're gonna become God in this movie. Like we are gonna be God in this. So like when we come at 0 Day, we're gonna be God. We decide who lives and who dies. So the reason why they're doing it is because they're just sick of life. So they're just gonna say, let's pretend to be God, and then kill ourselves. So for the story, in this one, I'm gonna have to give it to, again, Zero Day. So Zero Day 2, Elephant Zero. Yeah, I don't know if I'm repeating the characters. I don't know if I'm repeating characters in this. Anyways, for the third score, we're gonna have to go to music. Easy pick, Elephant. Now, I know y'all are gonna get mad at me, but as much as I love Volcano by Benji Kosa, it's literally the only song that's in the movie, along with Destroyer Jr. when in the beginning of the movie. That's the only song. That's the only song in it. Now, Elephant has a wide variety of soundtrack in that movie. Not a wide variety, but just some. The movie is quiet, really really quiet. Like you get but what I'm saying is, yeah, Volcano, it really does, yeah, Volcano by Benji Kosa really lists down the shooting of Zero Day. Like, have you ever felt such glory? They did Zero Day. The mission is accomplished. So when they go into the afterlife and say to people, have you ever felt such glory of being very close to being God? But in Elephant, there's no song with lyrics in it. All it is just pitching. It's it's ear-piercing music that reminds you, that gets louder and louder to remind you the end is coming. And when the shooting happens, there's two different types of music following Eric and Alex. Alex, like I said, has voices whispering to his head because he's a demented psycho who's doing it for the glory of killing. And Eric, his music is kind of like a fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, because it's kind of like a revenge fantasy to him. Like, the principal has been taunting us, has been destroying our students' mind for so long. Let's kill him. He has his whole beef with the shooting with the principal. So for him, it's like the only reason why I'm doing the shooting is because, well, the principal makes me angry. The whole system of education is messed up. I'm getting angry. Alex does it just because he's a messed up psycho. And then silence, because the whole score for the music was ear-piercing music that was letting you know closer and closer when the I should say apocalypse is coming. And then when it finally happens, there's silence because the apocalypse has already ended. And the silence also represents the people in the school while it happened. No survivors. There were no survivors. The apocalypse has ended. Silence. So the reason why I like the music in Elephant is because there's more variety to it. The ear-piercing music, like I said 1,000 times before, actually does get louder and louder, and kind of gets more intense. The more you alert to yourself, it's coming. The shooting is coming. Well, the only factor of carrying Zero Day is just Volcano by Benji Kosa. So anyways, I love Volcano so much, but just because there is one really good song in a movie does not take away the fact that there's more variety of music in another movie. Point goes to Elephant, Zero Day 2, Elephant 1. Now, let's see. Which movie is actually closer to the actual historical events of Columbine? Now, in Elephant, it does show us all the reasons why. They're bullied, they're not the most popular people, they're queer, everybody makes fun of them for being queer, they play violent video games, they don't like the school. So, this kind of lifts off all the... Now, in Columbine, we don't know why Alex and Cal did it. Why Alex and Cal did it. Actually, why they actually did it. What are those two kids' names? I always call them Alex and Cal. Oh, it's Dylan and Eric. So Dylan and Eric, Nobody knows why they did it. Everybody thought they were some part of a cult. Everybody thought it's because they weren't popular. It's because they thought they were being bullied. To this day, I think, to this day, we still don't know why they did it. And everybody keeps pointing them to them being a cult, to them being in a cult, to them playing violent video games, to them being not out, to them being outcasts. But we still don't know why. And in Elephant, it shows us all the reasons and none of them. But in Zero Day, they show us that they hate the school, they get bullied, and they just want to play God. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. As much as I love Zero Day, I gotta give the point to Elephant. In my opinion, it's like the most. In my opinion, it's the most. It is the most. In my opinion, it's the most. Really, it's the most closer related to Columbine than Zero Day. Now in Zero Day, yes, it is much closer because they are keeping archive of before the shooting happens. So it's 2 and 2. Now, they got nothing left. These movies are in a tie between my personal. So I'm gonna go with which movie I had more enjoyment with. And so this is down to me. If you have different reasons, please let me know below. Like which movie had better characters, which movie had better chemistry in the shooters, which movie had better music, which movie had a better story. Whatever you got in the comments below. If you think that either one of those movies is good, go down below, and you can also add a point. Which one did you enjoy the most? Now, in my opinion, Zero Day. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, Elephant is kind of like a movie where film influencers and basically critics, audiences, people who analyze filmmaking. It's a movie for them. It's a movie for Elephant. But for people who just want to see a movie, like people who don't have expertise and knowledge, like for example, the not serious skill. For people who are not very serious about film, about enjoying films, like they just want to see a movie just because they want to be entertained. I have to give that to Zero Day in my opinion. Now, I love the editing in Elephant. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of people hate it, but I do. But one thing that I like about Zero Day is because Andre and Cal feel so relatable in this movie. Because they're teenagers, they're quirky. You kind of relate to them and why they started shooting, but you relate to them why they want to start a shooting, but you wouldn't go in your head and say, I'm gonna start a shooting because of that. No, you relate to them, but you're not that sick enough to think of what they're actually gonna do, and you're gonna copy that in real life. And also Cal, I just found this out. I'm sorry I didn't mention earlier, but Cal is confirmed that he has ADHD, I think, in the promo website for Zero Day. And there are some people speculating that just because he has ADHD, it's probably because of his it's because of his neurodivergency. I think that's how you say it. That he wanted to join Andre in the shooting because it was the only ever friend that he feels comfortable with, and when he does a shooting, he's doing it just so he can feel comfortable with Andre. Well, Andre was the driving force. Anyways, back to Zero Day. Another thing why I like this movie is because during the shooting, I know this is gonna take a lot of people out, because I heard a lot of people say one of my biggest problems in Zero Day is because that freaking 911 operator was saying, Andre, can you pick up Andre? Well, yeah, in my opinion, it is a problem, but also this is just speculation, but it also serves as Andre's voice of reason. Like when she's saying, Andre, are you there? It's kind of saying the only sane portion of Andre inside him that is telling him, do you really think all of this is going to benefit? And yes, it's loud and clear. Like Andre knows this is wrong, but he's just doing it. He doesn't matter. He's ignoring that voice of reason. So to me, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but for me, that 911 operator serves as the voice of reason, the conscience of Andre. Can you pick up Andre? Are you there, Andre? It's calling for the same portion of Andre to come out and stop all of this. And not just that, but also like I said, Volcano by Benji Costa is a banger. It really fits the entire song. Originally they were gonna put "I Was Not Made for These Times" by the Beach Boys, but they couldn't, but didn't have permission for that to use that song, so they used Volcano. And Volcano feels like it was made for Zero Day. And another thing that I like about this movie is after the shooting, after you get the slideshow, and I almost cried in the slideshow because, like I said, what could these monsters have become in society? Like if they didn't made 0 days, what person would they be? What jobs would they get? What would they benefit? What would their children be like? Who would they meet in real life? Like what would their overall life be if they didn't start the shooting? But anyways, yeah, I'm sorry, but I enjoyed 0 Day the most. I keep rewatching it. Elephant, the only reason why I'm rewatching it is because of the editing. But overall, I think 0 Day is a better film in my opinion. If you like Elephant more, that's great. I'd like to hear why you like Elephant more. Or if you don't like any of these films, that's okay. It's just my opinion. So anyways, yeah, in my opinion, 0 Day is a way better movie about Columbine. And the reason why it's in Rebellious Teen February is because I don't think any parent will let their kid watch their movie about two people trying to shoot their school. Yeah, anyways, see ya. I hope you have a nice day. And I just want to say something. Who would think that their son, their kid, their employee, their peer would do something like this? You're gonna find for reasons, but you're gonna find nothing. Have you ever felt such glory? Maybe in an early morning.